Alright, just want to try to make a tutorial here on using a Revolve feature on TurboCAD. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new document. I'm just messing around, could be anything I'm trying to revolve here, so I'm just going to say it's a solid piece. It's going to be basically a flywheel, and I want to make it so it's out of brass. So I'm just going to go ahead, start out and get the object up here. I'm in ortho mode, so it doesn't really matter. Kind of get the shape how it should be. Just not paying attention to the sizing right now. Obviously that's one of the advantages of running in TurboCAD. While you can't get everything perfect necessarily, or I mean you can't make adjustments on the fly, you can go ahead and get your dimensions perfect right away. So let's go ahead and see what this will do. I got my object enclosed. Okay, so once I have my object finished, I'm just going to take my select tool, I'm going to drag, click and drag, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to use this join polyline tool to actually make this into one object so I can revolve the whole thing instead of each line individually. So the tricky thing about running that tool, after you click and select everything, you got to right click and say finish join polyline. And once you have that, since this is going to be solid, I don't need a hole. If I wanted a specific size hole, I'd offset the line from here that distance, okay, or that radius. Anyway, let's go ahead and come over here, and inside the box mode I'm just running deluxe. But inside box mode you can get the revolve tool out, and I can select, it says down there on the command line, select a 2D entity. That's what I'm going to do. So I've got it. First point on the revolution axis, so since I want this to be solid, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, and now I can see I got that rendered, not rendered, I've got that actually revolved. So if you look at it in isometric, and I also, a few things I noticed, cool thing, that you can adjust this just like you're running SolidWorks or Inventor Pro E. You see it's got these polygon lines that make it look rough. I've noticed that if you open up, right click up here, and you open up your render tools, we're going to be able to render this. But also, if you go into, take your select tool and click on your right click, go properties, you're going to be able to see that we can change our revolution shape, the luminescence of the lighting if we wanted to render this out, and also the number of segments. You can change that, or you can just click on smooth and OK it, and all of a sudden it's going to start to smooth that out, especially once you render it. You don't see those segments so much. I think if you go and you change this to, right now it's at 14, you bump this up to like 20, then you would see that it's smoothing it out even more. It's spreading that out over a greater distance. Obviously something you got to think about in TurboCAD, some of the nicer, more advanced programs that you got to pay more for. That's just going to be built in there. I'm just going to see if I can get this to render. And I'm actually cancel that. I can change this, since it's brass I was looking for. I'm just going to make it gold. And it'll actually, if you do a quality render, I think this arrow theme is something that you won't see in the professional version of this software, but I'm not sure. It seems like other people have better luck with that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit yes. And the light sources thing, I'm not really rendering it that specifically, I just kind of want to show you. Alright, and there is some shading, there's some lighting going on. I'm going to close that. I'm going to exit out. Now I can also still zoom in, zoom out, and you have some abilities to manipulate this. I notice on my computer it can barely hack it. Must be thinking pretty hard. But the grids are moving everything. I suppose I could turn those grids off. not quite as smooth as some things I'm used to working with, but at the end of the day, it still gives you the full 3D feature and you can look at everything. So that's basically running the Revolve tool.